welcome back to another trade recap video. This is your wolf speaking, a bit of an injured wolf, injured in terms of slightly dented ego and slightly dented self-confidence. All right, so why do I say that? Well, here are the two trades that I took yesterday. Yesterday being 13th of January 2025, and the trades were on HG, which is copper, one of my favorites, and GC, which is gold futures. Now, for those who are uninitiated on this charts, let me quickly explain what you see here. You have the 200 EMA right here, you have the 40 EMA right here, and then you have the magic waves on both the charts and the bottom indicator. The magic wave includes two waves, which is this red and green line here, and the magic line, which is this dotted line right here. Anyways, and then there are trades that I take, which are very specific to a particular pattern. I look for a trending chart and then a pullback and a continuation in the trending chart. And that pattern that I look at within the trending pullback continuation chart is basically what I call a double 3 single 15 or a D3 S15. D3 meaning double 3 waves, two waves on the 3-minute chart, which is what you have here, and single 15 or single wave on the 15-minute chart, which is what you have here. So there are both of these charts, and I look for this one particular pattern. Now, obviously this is the trade recap, so let me recap, right? And recap my, in this case, all my blunders, right? So blunder number one, I traded gold and copper, but I traded both of them at the same time. Yeah, pretty much. You can see this is around between 1:30 and 2 o'clock in the morning, pre-market time, Eastern, which is basically just before Frankfurt opens. And this is kind of what I call the European pre-market, 1 to 2. And then from 2 to 3 is Frankfurt open, and 3 o'clock is London open. I usually kind of trade during this time. So blunder number one, I traded two of these futures contracts at the same time. You can see this was my entry on gold. This was my entry on copper, literally at the same time. I never did that ever before, but probably call it Monday blues or anxious Rahul. But I did, right? And that was number one. Number two, I entered with a lot of confidence, or should I say overconfidence, the thin line between confidence and overconfidence. So what do you mean by that? In terms of the practicality of confidence or overconfidence is, I thought that so I need this red line to go and become green. And for some funny reason, or just speculation, I thought that it's happening right here, which never happened, to be honest. And you can see that on gold as well. I did not get both of these lines to go green at all, and yet I entered, right? Because on the top chart, the 3-minute was already printing double threes, but I know that that's not necessarily true. I have to wait for the single 15 happening as well, and I did not do that. So call it confidence, overconfidence, FOMO, what have you. But that's the second big mistake that I made. And then the funny part, so the trade starts off, right? I mean, so my entry was at the 200 right here on HG, and on this this line slightly late entry on, I mean, it was wrong entry anyways, but slightly late entry on gold, but kind of the line that you see here was my entry line. The line that you see here was my entry line on both of those charts, and I marked out, and my stop was the second line here and the second line here for gold and for copper respectively. And the box above was the end of this box was where my take profits were, right? So this was my take profit, and you can see that on copper. It really shot up as soon as I entered, missed my target by a couple of ticks or probably 3 ticks, and then it came down. On gold, it kind of struggled initially when I entered, then it moved up, hit the pre-market open line. This is the line that is the open of gold at 6 p.m. the previous day, which is when the futures market start trading. So I know that that's a pretty important resistance line. It needs to be broken with a lot of force, otherwise it won't. And I saw that gold did go up once, it went up twice, and it struggled. Although I saw that, I was like, we are still good for this. We could still kind of get this break up, and that will basically push gold up. Again, there was no reason for me to actually be that confident because the magic line was far away from the wave. And you need that momentum on the magic line for that breakout. It didn't happen. And it struggled there, and then it literally dumped down and took me out. So that was my first loss. Gold was a loss, right? And then, as fate would have it, copper again missed my exit or my take profit by a couple of ticks. It came down, and I'm like, that's not good. And then, as the bravest of the brave people would actually do, I put my head in the sand and I chose not to look at it any further. And I let it come down, do all of this, and then boom, it takes my stop. I literally, one more tick, and then it just goes up. And then it does what it had to do. Obviously, it went far above my profit target. But then again, you can see here the perfect entry was actually here instead of where I actually entered. And gold basically tanked. So yeah, multiple issues with the way I traded yesterday. Now, that is one thing in terms of the way I traded and what are the issues that I saw in myself when I was trading. Obviously, the big one was not to trade two charts or the two different trades at the same, not to take two different trades at the same time. And then the FOMO, confidence, overconfidence, and then just looking at this trade instead of managing the trade. All of those things are there, but the only solace I would say, and I think this is really important from a trader's perspective, was that I stopped after two losses. Again, not easy to stop after two losses because the mindset is, I made losses and now I need to recover, right? And I'll tell you that I was trading 4 accounts together. My loss on copper was around $125-ish, and my loss on gold was $200. Right, so around $345 multiplied by 4 accounts, which is over $1,000, over $12,100. But I stopped after these 2 losses. I was, when the first gold trade was a loss, I was still hopeful that copper would actually still go and make money. And my rule was that if copper was a winner, so if this was a loser, and if copper was a winner, then I'll allow myself another trade. So, and if that was a winner or loser, it doesn't matter, I would have stopped at the 3 trades. So I'm trying to enforce myself with that rule as well, in terms of just taking 2 or 3 trades. If there were 2 winners, I would have stopped. If there were 2 losers, I would want to stop. But if I have 1 winner and 1 loser, then I would give myself that chance to basically take a 3rd trade and see if I could either have a loser or a winner. But beyond the 3 trades, I just want to stop. And again, it's extremely difficult given the fact that I am a full-time trader and the fact that I have so much time. But it doesn't mean what's really the crux behind this whole objective of only taking 2 or 3 trades in a day is to make myself come back with a better drawdown available for me the next day. So the recovery process for the accounts that have now gone through this loss yesterday is fairly manageable. So I can be very, very methodical in the way I kind of bring the drawdown up again. so that I can continue to play this game for a much longer time. So yeah, I'm trying to enforce this rule. Yesterday was important in that respect. So although there were lots of shortcomings in terms of the way I traded, but the only saving grace for me has been that I stopped after 2 losses, and I hope to continue that. And funnily enough, my previous video was the trades I took on Friday. I was lucky, and in that recap, I also mentioned the fact that sometimes my luck will run out, and I did on Monday itself. It didn't really take too much time. So most of our odds are stacked against us in this funding game. So just be careful out there, guys. Stay safe, stay green. Bye bye.